Hi guys! Day 20 of social distancing, and you are noticing that this video is different because it's April Fool's Day. So that is why you are seeing the title sequence of my favorite show of all time, The Office, and I am the featured character, Michael Scott. So since I cannot hold this up, I will tell you the word of the day. It is tomfoolery, which is general shenanigans and mischief and being silly, which works for today because it's April Fool's Day. So I hope you enjoyed the beginning of the video, and now we're getting back to serious stuff, which is not as fun, but here we go. So, you will notice, and some of you already did, that I locked you out of certain parts of Schoology. Some of you have not once looked at the daily slides, which has videos, my videos of the day. It has directions, it has links, it has templates, it has other things that you're supposed to view and do, like the daily check-in that I use for attendance. So I have put them in a sequential order. That means you cannot open one document before you access the first one, and the second one before the third one, and the third one before the fourth one, and so on and so forth. So if you are someone who has jumped around on Schoology and just looked at the documents that are there for you to work on, I need you to go back. It's going to lock you out tomorrow automatically, and you have to go back through and look at everything in order. There's a reason I put up daily slides every single day. So I need you to do those correctly. If you have already been doing that, it shouldn't lock you out, but just in case, open everything in order, and you'll be fine. So I've changed the Schoology links. I also need you to work on reading directions. So I told you in every video, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for ELA, my class, is required. Everything on the slide for those days are things that you need to be doing. Now, you can do them on different days. That's totally fine, but I'll keep them listed as Monday, Wednesday, Friday so that you know those are required things. Usually those are the ones that pop up in Schoology and are in the gradebook. Tuesday, Thursday are all optional stuff. I do not want you to do Tuesday, Thursday stuff before you're done with Monday, Wednesday stuff. You may not access the stuff on Tuesday, Thursday until you're done with Monday, Wednesday. Obviously, with things like the log, you're not going to submit that yet because it's for the whole week. And for the pandemic journal, you need 2 entries. So obviously, you can't do 2 entries on Monday before you do stuff on Tuesday. You get the gist. So understand that some things are going to take more than 1 day. That's why they're ongoing. That's a lot of stuff in ELA. We've been doing that all year long. That's nothing new. Read directions, please. Some of you on today's stuff, you opened up one of the links that was not a link directly to Schoology, so it didn't open up your own copy of it, and you kept clicking the request access button, which sends me an email every time you do that. I'm not going to give you access to it because in the directions next to the link on the slide, it said, when you open this, click File, click Make a Copy. So if you are doing things that have directions right next to them and you're doing the opposite way, I'm going to ignore your request. You have to read the directions. That's why I write them for you to do it correctly, okay? Next. Some of you have opened the pandemic journal, and you wrote your name and the date and the time that you opened it, and then you didn't have a journal entry next to it or underneath it. That's great. You opened it, you looked at it, maybe you read the directions, but you didn't do anything yet. So the next time you go into that, you need to change the date and the time to whatever the date and the time is that you actually do that journal entry. So, and I wrote you comments, those of you that did that. Some of you also opened some of those things, like the reading log and the journal, and started working on them, but you still haven't looked at the daily slides. I wrote you a note about that too. So if you have specific comments on any of your documents, usually I told you what you need to do. But tomorrow, it's going to be kind of a shock because you're going to be locked out, and most of you haven't read or looked at these videos yet. So you're going to have some catching up to do because you haven't been following directions. But all the directions are still there for you. Next, let's go through today's slide for Wednesday. So your daily check-in, again, I write next to that every single day. That's my way of doing attendance and seeing who is interacting. So I noticed yesterday when I started giving feedback on your day or your journal entries and your reading logs and your work from home schedules, that some of you accessing those things have not once done a daily check-in. So you've been absent this whole time, even though you've been opening documents and starting some work on them. So please do the daily check-in. Today's daily check-in has some questions about if you want to do a live Google Meet or Google Hangout, because a lot of you have been asking about that. It's totally voluntary. If you want to, awesome. If you don't want to, that's totally fine. You can click yes or no, and you can click a time that's okay for you. It's going to be tomorrow, Thursday, one of our kind of free days, because a good chunk of you just want to kind of get on and chat with each other and see each other's faces. So we will do that tomorrow, totally voluntary, and you can indicate to me in the Google check-in whether you'd want to do that and what time works. And we can do kind of the majority of what works for everybody. If you don't want to do that, don't worry, you don't have to. Flipgrid, today you are going to share your intentional workspace. I told you the last couple days to start thinking about that and start designing it and start setting it up. Another reason that you need to be watching these videos, I give instructions, directions, and further explanations of everything you're doing in these videos. So some of you text me on Remind and ask me a question, and I say, oh, did you watch the video? And then you go, oh, let me go watch that. So those of you that have not watched one of these yet, you need to watch the last couple ones for this week because they give further explanations of everything you need to be doing. Today, after you do the daily check-in, if you need to log, please log what you've read the last couple days if you haven't been doing that. And then after you do your Flipgrid of your intentional workspace, you are going to, if you need to, add into your journal, because it is Wednesday. Remember that you need a total of 2 per week for that. If you want to do more than 2, that's totally fine. If you want to save the last one for Friday because some of you are managing your time and you want to put some stuff off so that you have something to do every day, that's fine too. Just know that that's an option every day depending on what your schedule is that you've designed for yourself. Which leads me to your next thing you're doing today. If you submitted your work from home schedule Monday or yesterday, Tuesday, I unsubmitted it for you because I want you to use today, and this is a required thing, use today to go back to the work from home schedule you designed. Some of you were super specific and you provided very specific times and things you were doing and when you were doing things, and you added a lot to each section and where it was happening and things like that. And some of you wrote schoolwork, hang out, relax for the descriptions. You need to go back and add more detail if that's you. If you know that you added enough detail, you know who you are. If you know that you wrote 1 to 3 words for your explanation, you know that you need more explanation. But everybody is going to go on today and edit, adjust their work from home schedule after you've used it the last 2 days. So I made mine last week, and I know that I really should be making one for every single day because my Monday is different than my Tuesday, and my Tuesday is different than my Wednesday, etc. What I want you to do is go back on and adjust and change things and tweak your work from home schedule, knowing now what you know about kind of how each class is going and what each teacher is expecting and times for certain projects and things like that. So I want you to go back to your work from home schedule, adjust it. That might be one thing for some of you. That might be the whole thing for some of you. So some of you need to go back and almost redo it. Some of you just need to go back and tweak it. Then once you've done that, you can resubmit it, unless you feel like you want to make changes throughout the week. But if you feel like it's done after today and you resubmit it, fantastic. And then the last thing for today, it is called a bucket list. It is a slide document, and the only reason for that is because when I copy and paste that into a doc, a Google Doc, the format completely messes up. So I wanted to keep that as a slide, although when you look at it, it's really tiny, and if you try to zoom in, it doesn't work. So my suggestion for that is click the Present button. It'll make it big. You can see the directions. They're very simple. They ask you to go research those 3 topics: books you want to read, movies, TV shows you want to watch, and then places you want to visit. Obviously, I know we cannot visit anywhere right now. That's why we're doing this. I want you to research, I think it's 10, there's a list of 10 there. 10 places you want to go. They can be places in Grand Junction. They can be places around the world. They can be implausible places like Pluto. But go actually do the research of places you want to go. Okay? So those are the things for today. Last part of this video, I'm going to make it quick. There were, I think, 10 or so questions that you put on yesterday's check-in, and I'm going to answer those real quick like I usually do. Someone asked, night or day? I'm going to go with day because I like sunshine. Somebody else simply said, I miss you. I miss you all too. I hope we get to see each other soon. Join the Google Meet tomorrow and we can all see each other's faces. 3, would you rather lose the ability to speak or lose the ability to read? And I think we all know my answer to this one. I would rather lose the ability to speak because I don't want to give up reading. Can we do a live session? I already answered that, and that inspired me to actually start this live session that we're going to do tomorrow. So again, in the check-in, you'll have a chance to tell me if you want to do that or don't want to. No pressure either way. And then what time is a really good time for you. Then, have I found audiobooks for Lit Circles? It is a work in progress still. I'm kind of at a standstill. I have mostly found all of them in an audiobook version. I've even been able to find some of them, about half of them, in a PDF version, which means you can actually kind of have the book in front of you, even though it'll be on a screen. But there's still 2 to 3 that I'm trying to track down. So if by the weekend I cannot find those anywhere accessible to any of us, I'll need to rework our groups for the people that were in those 3 groups, 2 to 3 groups that I can't find, and I will have them ready for you next week, either way. Let's see, where else? Do I like chocolate raisins? No, they're gross. Ugh, ugh. How will grading work? For this first week, I'm keeping everything formative because not everybody's logged on yet, and I don't want to add these as a summative grade in the gradebook and penalize anybody's grade that just doesn't have access yet or hasn't been able to get a computer or internet. When we get into our actual content, we'll start working as an 8th grade team and as a book lift team to figure out how grading will go and make sure it's equitable for everybody. But for now, at the end of the week, I will give you a grade on those things that we've been doing this week, and you can kind of see your progress and my feedback, but it'll be a formative, so it won't completely affect our grades. And the last one, everyone was having issues with Schoology. That wasn't really a question, it was just kind of a, what's going on? I wish I could tell you. I don't know. I don't work for Schoology. I hope that they have it ironed out by the end of this week. It's not just our district around Colorado and the nation that uses Schoology, so hopefully they're ironing out those issues. If you ever have an issue with Schoology, just email me on Gmail, and I can try to get you the direct like Google Doc link or Google Slide link, so you don't even have to open Schoology and get to it. So if that helps, just shoot me an email or even a remind text, and I can try to get you kind of a roundabout way to get to it. But again, tomorrow or today, if you log on and you see that you're locked out of things, remember that this video shows you how to get through everything, and that is probably because you aren't doing them in order. So that's my way of trying to curb that. So, happy April Fool's Day. I hope you enjoyed this very silly, crazy video, and have fun. I'll see you later today or tomorrow for our live chat.
Chill.
Hi guys! It is April Fool's, and it is day. Uh-oh, I have to hold that right in front of me. Spencer, we have to start over.
Just do it over. I'll just trim it off.
Oh, just like start over?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I hold up the sign, it
freaks out.
Yep. Shoot! All that for nothing. Okay.
Okay. What? You're supposed to be looking down the whole time. This. I'll just yell. Go.